let's move on to the story that's been buzzing in the markets today, which is Yes Bank. Yes Bank slumped in trade today, even though there was this big announcement that there would be a $2 billion fund infusion in Yes Bank. The stock, in fact, went as low as 7.6% in trade. This after the management has been coming out and explaining what their infusion plan is and who the investors are. In fact, a mega $2 billion fundraising plan is on board. Canadian billionaire investor Irwin Singh Bright has emerged as the top player and is supposed to be putting in $1.2 billion in Yes Bank. The problem is that they need to get regulatory approval, and the street's not so sure that this set of investors will pass muster. This has been the problem with Yes Bank. So why are investors saying no to Yes Bank? I had a quick chat with ET Now managing editor Nikunj Dalmia earlier in the day, who broke it down for us. All right, Nikunj, let's talk about Yes Bank. What's the deal with Yes Bank? Big news over the weekend. You interviewed Ravneet Gill as well, but the markets just don't seem impressed. We saw that today as well.
So, Damana, let's analyze the communication. One single bid from an unknown entity, which at least is not widely known in the market. Markets are saying it's too big to be true. Too big to be true, simply because for someone who has no large direct presence in India, if they are ready to commit about $1.2 billion in an entity like Yes Bank, when we know that they are going through a very tough and a troubled time, markets are saying that this bid may not actually see light of the day. That's one. Second, the bank had indicated we needed $1.2 billion. Now they want to raise $2 billion, which means markets are suspecting and questioning and are trying to understand and analyze that is the hole in Yes Bank's balance sheet is so big that instead of $1.2 billion, you need $800 million more, or this is just money available on the table, which has just been, and Yes Bank has just found a very big white knight, so to speak. Whatever may be the fact, whatever may be the fiction, we don't know. On 10th of December, when the board meets again, we'll find out what is right and what is hope and what is fiction here. As of now, markets are confused. There's uncertainty around what is the next step, and typically markets, they get nervous when there is uncertainty and there's lack of clarity.
Now, the whole buzz over the last couple of days was about who these investors are. Is the pedigree of the investors the question, or the concern of whether the RBI will give the nod?
I think both, because we have limited information which is available on various forums. We've tried to reach this family group, but we've not got any response back from them yet. So one really is trying to understand that what the pedigree, capacity and the ability of this financial group is. B also, will this group really pass the fit and proper criteria of Reserve Bank of India? Remember, if you have to take more than 10% stake as an individual in any bank, right, you need to meet that criteria. On that front, it is the RBI's final decision which would be the final decision. But if I really have to, let's say, talk about Yes Bank dispassionately, the question is that what is the best case scenario? The best case scenario is that Yes Bank gets capital, they're able to recapitalize their book. Some part of the capital will be used for growth capital, which is for bank to grow. Some part would be used for write-off. That's the best case scenario. Within that also, the economy is bad. It's not going to go back to its halo days of 40% growth. So, like they always say, bird in hand or two in bush. In case of Yes Bank, you'll have to play a blind game. A lot of investors in this kind of a market, they do not want to play the blind game.
Yeah. You, in fact, had a chance to talk to Ravneet Gill, and he's in a very tough position because he's been trying to, make it all work ever since he took charge, and this seems to be the next big challenge. What did he have to say about some of these questions that are being raised?
He's trying to, he has a tough trek, and the road ahead is not going to be a smooth ride, so to speak, irrespective of whether they get the capital or they do not get the capital. The way I look at Yes Bank, Tamanna, is that with the first round of capital, they managed to survive. With the second round of capital, they will manage to revive, but they will not flourish. That, I think, is the most important fact which we need to bring out on table for our viewers, that in the best case scenario also, Yes Bank will find it difficult to go back to the peak P multiples and price to book which it was enjoying. So the short term picture for Yes Bank will improve if the capital goes through, the medium term will improve, but long term it's still a very long, long way ahead. Just because you've got money, that does not mean that all your problems will be taken care of. Alternatively, which could also happen, is that the stock is very cheap. If they are able to show reasonable growth for 2 quarters, if the book quality stabilizes, then markets will start believing in it. You know, Taman, and markets always vote for rate of change, and they always move faster than the actual event. In case of Yes Bank, once bitten twice shy, markets will wait for the actual event, then they'll make an opinion.
Well, in fact, let's play out some of that interview which you had with Ravneet Gill, and where you actually asked him about the question of, credibility. Let's listen to that clip.
We had multiple, conversations with multiple stakeholders, local Canadians, obviously the banking system, financial system, checking with other business contacts, and so far everything that we saw of the investor seemed to pass muster. So I would say that yes, we have dug really deep, tried to satisfy ourselves in every respect. And I also think that, in all fairness, the investor should be given the chance to also, provide their position in the matter, which I think they will do shortly. The big question really is that, do the investors have the wherewithal to be able to bring an investment of that size? And my sense is that, they will be able to satisfy the market on that very shortly. First and foremost, this is a binding bid that they provided. And this came as you know.
There is a bank guarantee attached to it?
No, so there's no bank guarantee attached to it. But they have gone to great lengths to show us, what their sources of funding are and what their resources really are, and whether they can meet this requirement or not. And on the basis of what we've been shown, we have every reason to believe that they have the resources to be able to make an investment of this size.
Well, we'll take a very short break here on India Development Debate, but remember, this is the one show where you get all the news you need. We give you value for your money. So after the break, I'm going to play out an interview I managed to do with a very interesting person. Remember the whole Maharashtra political drama? Well, he was at the front and center, saying from day one that the Aghadi Sarkar would emerge. What's next on his agenda? Sanjay Raut speaks to me after this break. Watch that exclusive interview. Don't miss it.